life. You got this. Go chase it, live your life. Enlighten you. Let the light shine through. Light. Enlighten you. Just see it through.
I'm Melissa Thrasher.
And I'm Lolita Cummings.
Welcome to Enlighten U, Eastern Michigan University's podcast for students. Today we're going to spend 40 minutes or so talking about something that we all need more of: rest, relaxation, and self-care.
That is so true. We all need to take better care of ourselves, something that we all need to do more of. And guess what? Summer is the perfect time for us to nourish our minds, our bodies, and our souls. Why, you might ask? Because it's so nice outside, we can exit our caves and we can get some fresh air. And many of you may not be taking any courses in the summer, or may at least have a lighter load. So to help us get started, we will soon introduce you to our guest expert, Raina LaGrand. Raina is a licensed clinical social worker and owner of Route to Rise Somatics. She is also a local somatic trauma therapist, belonging coach, yoga instructor, and more. In a nutshell, Raina is all things relaxation and rejuvenation.
And probably, like you and me, our student joining us today needs all of the services Raina provides. Laleh Walker is quite active and involved. She's a public relations major going into her second year at EMU, and in a few minutes will give us a rundown of everything she's involved in and what she plans to do. But before we bring on today's guests, please be sure to watch today's episode in its entirety. We have a special giveaway prize we will announce at the end. Now, welcome to Enlighten U, Raina and Laleh. Thank you so much for joining us. So welcome to the show, Raina and Laleh. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to start with you, Raina. Everything that you do sounds so soothing and relaxing. And I want to start with the first question, if you can let the viewing audience know, what is somatic therapy?
So somatic therapy is an approach to psychotherapy that integrates the whole body, because we know that a lot of the ways that we struggle emotionally, and especially when it comes to trauma, is such a physiological experience, and it's not at the level of like our prefrontal cortex, where we're very, kind of like our most human brain, our most kind of wise analytical brain, the brain that we have sort of the most control over, so to speak. These are really parts of our brain and body that are more impulsive and sensory. And so somatic therapy really helps people in a number of ways, and there's a number of approaches I use. It incorporates mindfulness and mindful awareness and becoming more aware of not just your thoughts and your feelings, but sensations that you're experiencing and impulses in your body. I also use different somatic approaches for processing trauma, different approaches for helping people get more comfortable with connection and touch. So it's a very holistic and integrative approach to therapy. So sessions are, they can feel like talk therapy, and then there are sessions where there's not as much talking going on. We're sort of tracking what's happening in the body.
Wow. How do you know that you need or would benefit from this type of therapy?
I'm biased. I think this type of therapy is really useful and helpful. Of course, there are, paying attention to your body can be very overwhelming and triggering for some. So it's not for everyone at every moment in time. Definitely more talk therapy approaches can be helpful for folks, or things like EMDR, where you're not really talking as much, but it's also not exactly somatic. EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing, which has become a very popular approach to treating trauma these days, and is amazing and is somatic in a way, and is not necessarily in the sense of the ways that I use somatic therapy. So I work with a lot of people who are inclined towards mindfulness and yoga and body-based approaches. I work a lot with people who have been in talk therapy for years and are feeling stuck in their patterns, and the talk therapy isn't helpful. And it's absolutely really helpful for people who are having really a lot of like sensation or like intense bodily experiences, even struggling with health issues. People reach out to me when they're struggling with gut issues or having really intense PMS. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not treating those, but we are working with what might be happening in the body on a physiological and emotional level that we can kind of soothe a bit.
Yeah.
That's good. This sounds like it's a lot of, and I know very little about it, other than a little bit of research on what you've talked about, that it really is just getting to know yourself, to just being quiet, to just listening to yourself. And I think that's so hard for a lot of our students. And maybe Laleh, you can talk about that, because I think as we get more and more busy in our lives, we stop taking the time to really listen to what we need, what we're doing, what our body's doing, and how we're responding to that. And the more busy we are, the less we do of that. So you help us to slow down and to really just feel what's going on and be in the moment. I mean, for example, I think a lot of times, and maybe you can talk about this, when we're even just speaking to someone, we're not really focused on what the other person is saying, but we're thinking about what we're going to say next if the person responds in the way in which we expect them to respond. Yeah. And that, I think, takes even more away from how we're feeling and how we're doing. What do you think about that, Laleh?
I think that can be true for some people, but I don't really feel like that in terms of when I talk, because I talk really fast. So I just say like the first thing that pops up into my head. It doesn't like turn out in a bad way at all, but that's just how I am. But I feel like when it comes to like the things that I'm doing, like activities or when I have a task to complete, I definitely spend more time thinking about doing it than I actually start doing it.
I love that you are very conscious of that. We'll come back to that. But before we do that, you do a lot more than somatic therapy, right? Tell us more about what you do with your practice and how that affects mental health and how it can help make our mental health better. Because you're not just, not that that's not enough, but that you do far more than that.
Yeah. So in my practice, Rise Somatics, I offer somatic therapy, primarily for trauma, but for a number of issues. I also work specifically with people who are mixed race and interracial couples. So really this intersection of racial identity and relationships and belonging. I'm a yoga teacher, and I do a lot of like speaking and workshops on embodiment. So embodiment is a term in the world in general, but in somatics, kind of what happens when we're able to pay attention to our internal experience in our environment with presence and attention. And I mean, at the core of everything is really like relationships, connection, and belonging for me, and how that happens or doesn't happen in the context of our social and political and historical experience here, as you talked about being busy, and how prevalent that is in our society, and how much that's connected to political issues and economic issues like capitalism and stuff. So a lot of what I do in all of my work is normalizing for people what they're struggling with and reminding them that there's so much context, that they're not bad or weak or defective because they're struggling with anxiety or depression or relationships. And also that we can exercise choice. We can develop new skills and adaptations to be able to move through our lives with more ease and feel more connected.
I like that. I like that a lot. So do you help people sort of realize that it's okay to be in the moment, to appreciate the moment that they're in?
Yeah, it's okay to be in the moment, and it's also okay to not be in the moment, because I notice a lot of people will beat themselves up for not being in the moment or for scrolling on their phone, which I do too.
Right. We're all like,
and it's really about trusting the wisdom of your body and having compassion for it. And if your body is like, I just need to mindlessly scroll right now, of course, like, we want to work towards you feeling like you have other options and you actually reach for those options, because that's the hard part, is you might know a walk would be nice, but you're not doing it.
Right.
And also, there's just no shame in that. And in fact, with the phone example, these applications are designed to keep us addicted. So it's not, mind over matter always.
That is very true.
So earlier you talked about briefly how you help people that have trouble with like their gut health. And I'm like a big believer in that, like our gut health causes a lot of problems like internally and externally like in our lives. So can you like maybe share an example or expand a little bit on how like your work helps the gut health problem?
Yeah. Well, and I'll be, careful to say I don't specialize in gut health or anything like that. It's more of an example, but some things we might look at are, what emotions are you having about your gut health? Are you beating yourself up? Are you feeling shame? Is it causing you to spiral? I notice a lot of times with health issues, people they'll really just spiral, right? And there's a lot of like grief in that too to process. But we also might pay attention to like using your body, really sensing into what actually feels good when I eat it and what doesn't. Because so many of us struggle with, I know this would feel good, but, I'm rushing, or I just need some quick sugar. And again, there's no shame in using those things, but Somatics focuses a lot on this this process called interoception, which is like being able to notice what's happening in your body. So it's a one way of perception, right? It's like a perceptional experience. And so, yeah, really tuning into like, what does my gut need? Or did it feel good when I ate this thing? And stuff like that.
That's really good. I've actually been working on that lately. And it's so funny that you say no shame, because I do feel shame. The other day it was in the evening and I'm like, oh, why do I feel like this? I'm like, oh, okay, now I know, because I had that cookie and I had that ice cream and I had that last piece of key lime pie. That's why I feel horrible. And just listening to your body, I think, does give us a certain awareness of what we're doing. I mean, maybe it's something that we want to repeat or not. But I like the fact that you also said take the shame out of it, because we have an opportunity to make different choices the next time. If I don't want to feel sluggish now, then maybe I don't eat that key lime pie the next time, or the whole slice of the key lime pie next time.
Right? Because pleasure is so important. And food is a way that we experience pleasure and connection to other people and culture and stuff. And also we experience pleasure in our bodies when we are eating food that is nutrient dense. So it's, different ways of experiencing pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to redirect just a little bit. And thank you for that, because now I'm not going to feel so bad next time.
Yeah, have that key lime pie.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And you can always get back on track too.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
the
I
next
always
day,
remember.
I compensated for the day before, and I just ate my salads like I was supposed to do, and I was just fine.
I feel like a big thing when we talk about like, eating things that may not seem healthy for us, a big part of it is how those things are sourced. Because there are ways to enjoy those things, but like it's better to make it homemade using maybe more nutritional ingredients so you can still enjoy it to the fullest capacity without feeling sluggish.
Absolutely. And then you know what's in there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
As opposed to, because if I had known that there was probably so much Eagle brand milk in there, I probably wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
But it was so good, so I ate it anyway. But I'm still going to redirect. So back to, this whole rejuvenation and relaxation. We specifically chose you, Laleh, because I know you had a lot going on as a freshman last academic year. Can you talk about those activities and clubs and internships and everything that you had going on? And then we're just kind of break you down a little bit is what we're going to talk about it.
So this year was my first year of college, so that's why it just felt like a lot. So I was getting into the routine of like balancing a lot of classes while having a lot of classwork I have to do on my free time, because I didn't have to do that in high school. So I just felt very offended by that, I will say. So I was a part of the Black Media Association, and I was able to be more active in that my second semester because, I like kind of finally was able to balance out college and then social life. I participated in a fashion show my first semester, and I was an intern for the EMU Parents and Family Facebook page. So I was like creating a lot of content, meeting up with different departments and people. So I think that's all that I did. Oh, I got to be a moderator for the success panel for Black Media Association. So
And you had how many academic credits?
15.
Oh
50.
my
That's
goodness.
that's a lot.
My first semester, I took like 6 classes. I've never done that before.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a lot. So what are you planning to do in the fall? Just give us a preview.
In the fall, I have 2 internships. I have a campus job, and I'm like the social media coordinator for that job as well. So continue with that. I have an e-board position for PRSSA. What else? I have another position that I can do, but it's not official yet, so I won't speak on it. And I'm going to continue being a part of BMA. But also I feel like trying, because I'm a sophomore, but I was a freshman this past year. So I was still like looking at other orgs, seeing what other orgs I want to be a part of. And, that I think that's an activity in itself, because it takes a while to like feel out the people and see what kind of environment it is. Yeah. So I think I'll still be on the search for that next semester too.
Laleh, I'm already tired listening to you. I'm already tired.
No.
So tell me what you're doing for self-care. What are you doing to take care? Tell us what you're doing to take care of Laleh.
So because like I said, like my first semester was just absolutely insane. Like I have never felt so drained before in my life. And that feeling just sucks, because I feel like I got more anxious. Like I'm not someone with anxiety, but I definitely feel like I developed anxiety after my first semester, because everything just felt like it was moving so fast. I didn't have time to like do what I wanted to do. Like my senior year of high school, like the summer before senior year, I was able to like get more in the gym and be more active, but it's like I felt like the walls were caving in on me, so I didn't have time to like work out and have that outlet to, be healthy. And then I lived on campus, and I have a lot of dietary restrictions because I want to be vegan at some point, so I try to like be as healthy as possible.
So it sounds like you want to do some things.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about what I do. My bad, guys. Okay, so after I like talked to my mom and my dad about it, and they were just like, well, you don't have a choice because your schedule is going to be the same, so you need to be able to like figure out and actually stick to a plan. So I think a big thing is routine. Like have a routine and have time to set aside for just yourself. So I did that. I did end up going to the gym in the morning before my class. Like I only had like 20 minutes to get ready for class after I came from the gym, because I had morning classes, which really helped a lot. Because there was this one day I had a test. I got it over with, but I was still so anxious. I've never had that feeling before. So I went to the gym, I ran, I just felt like on cloud 9. Like I felt so good. Everything was just lifted off of my shoulders. So I do that, and I do meditation, because as you guys can see, I'm very go. Like I like doing things. So meditation just definitely helps me be more mindful and in the moment. It helps me calm down. So those are the main things I do. I think just talking to my family is a big thing.
It sounds like you're doing a lot. You're trying to fit it in, and I like that your parents said just, put together a schedule. And so I think that's helping. So Raina, question for you. How important is it for our students to incorporate rejuvenation, self-care practices, things like that Laleh is doing in her everyday life?
Yeah, it's so important. It sounds like you're doing a really great job. And it's also so hard. And it's actually so countercultural. Like you really have to, I think, believe you need this and you deserve these things. Taking care of our bodies and our minds, it has to come first. Absolutely. And there's so many different ways you can do that, which I'm sure we're going to be talking more about. But this is a time when you can start to set some of these habits for later down the road too. I remember my first semester of freshman year, and I was so exhausted. I was crying like every Friday, and also first semester of grad school, going back, same thing. And so it's important to like kind of hold some values around that. And I like what you're talking about routine too. So our bodies can really benefit from routine and predictability. Although there's, also folks who are a little more, here and there, and that works better for them. But yeah.
Where does connectedness, because I remember Laleh saying that she likes to talk to her family and feel connected. How does that play a role in rejuvenation?
Connection is extremely important. In fact, I would argue that it's the most important thing. The U.S. Surgeon General last year actually released a report on the loneliness epidemic that's happening here in the United States and probably globally in a lot of other areas too. And they're seeing actually that loneliness and social isolation is actually more harmful for you than smoking or not exercising or eating that key lime pie. Connection is really regulating for our nervous system. We're social creatures. And so when we are spending time with people or talking to people who we love and trust, that's communicating safety to our body and bringing online the things that need to happen in order for our digestion to happen and for our heart rate to, stabilize and all those things. So connection is truly number one. I often say you can drink all the green juice. You can, go to Orange Theory Fitness every day. You can quit smoking, but if you're not connected, you're not going to be well.
That's important. So Laleh, you lived on campus last year. Are you still on campus right now?
No.
Or did you go back home?
No, I went back home.
Where's home for you?
Home is in Ypsilanti, a couple minutes away from EMU.
Okay, a couple minutes away.
Yeah.
But for those students who, for example, go home and go home and home is far away, they may miss the relationships, the connections, the friendships that they had on campus. What are some of the ways in which they can either continue those relationships or make new relationships so that they don't feel that sense of loneliness and isolation? Do you have friends who went far away, and how do you guys stay connected?
Yeah, so a lot of my friends came from I feel like an hour away or 2 hours away almost. And I feel like a great way of getting more connected. So of course, you're going to miss your family, but, not cry about it every day and be severely sad about it, is finding your community on campus. And that's what I love about EMU, because I feel like there's just a strong community wherever you go in different subcategories, if you know what I mean. So me and my friend, she had her own room. So me and my best friend would go in there all the time. And because her room just felt so homey, because, she didn't have a roommate, so she could decorate it however she wanted. And we would always just be in there because she always welcomed us to be. So that helped a lot. So I think just finding your place on campus, and even if it takes a while, because I feel like it took a while for me to find my people, is just remember that if it hasn't came to you yet, it's going to come to you, because college is just a melting pot of so many different people. So you're not just going to click with everyone right away. And that's okay. That's totally normal. So just don't be discouraged if it doesn't happen to you right away. Just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Try some orgs. If you feel like an org doesn't work well with you, then that's okay. Just find something else, honestly.
Are there other ways that students can maintain that sense of community over the summer that they need? How do you think they might be able to do some of that?
Yeah, I think, you have to be realistic with yourself about how you keep in touch with people. Because I know some of my friends, it's they are, Colorado, I'm not going to talk to them till the spring or till the fall. So I think, that can be tough. But I think making time for one another and checking in, whether it's via text or FaceTime or, Zoom or whatever, can be really helpful to just maintain those connections and to communicate to one another. I care about you. I want to know how you're doing,
So it doesn't have to be a whole long drawn out conversation for it to be helpful to you and to them, in terms of keeping those social connections. It doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be time consuming, doesn't have to be like when I used to call my Aunt Ruth and I had to have 2 hours to do it. Right. Doesn't have to be, but it can be shorter periods, but still healthy for us.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember which friend of this, for me, that does this, but she'll just now I am she. She'll just write we've both been so busy, it's been hard to keep in touch. Do you just want to share some highlights or lowlights of what's been going on?
I am that friend. Me and my friend, we started doing, she goes to a different college, so we started doing photo dumps, so we could see what we're doing in each other's lives, because I am so busy. So I am one of those friends that will text hey, I'm sorry I haven't responded yet. I've just been really busy, but I hope you're good, and please don't think I'm ignoring you. We'll catch up soon.
Yeah,
I love that photo dump. Because I mean, they say, pictures worth 1,000 words. Right. But in this case, it does tell a lot. It tells a lot about your story without you having to spend a lot of time if you're busy like you are. But you get a sense of what this person is doing and you kind of feel connected as a result of it. So, so that's really good.
It makes me think about the holiday cards and how people kind of give an idea, an overview of what the family has been up to during the month. So, I like that too.
So, self-care, I'm sure, means a lot of different things to each individual person, right? So, lately for me, I wouldn't say self-care, but it certainly is something I enjoy. That latte, that Starbucks latte with the lavender cold foam, when I tell you, I feel good about myself when I have one of those. But for other people, it may be a massage, it may be something with friends. What does self-care mean? I mean, what if you could you define it, or is it just really individual to many people? Like if someone said, I want to take better care of myself, I want to focus on self-care, what might that mean? And how might they be able to do it? And that's for both of you.
Self-care, I really define as what do you need to do in order to be well enough to continue engaging in the things you need to do and want to do.
I like that.
So it's not necessarily a hot bath or the cold foam. Those things can help. They don't necessarily hurt, right? I mean, unless they have like deep meaning. Like a massage can have deep meaning around like my body needs this to like not have pain, or like it feels good to be touched in this way. But I think of self-care more as like the more consistent things that you're doing on a daily basis around, eating nutritious foods, getting exercise, hanging out with your loved ones, also setting boundaries, getting enough sleep is so important. Real self-care, I feel like, is kind of boring. That's why we have to spice it up with the lattes and stuff.
Exactly. And are they, when I think about self-care, automatically I'm thinking about things that make me feel good, right? So would you consider these things, I mean, they help our wellness and our overall, well-being, but are they supposed to make you feel good? What does it do to the soul?
I mean, there definitely should be things in your self-care strategy that make you feel good, but also like paying my bills is self-care. Calling my insurance company to double check on a claim is self-care. Sometimes doing the things that you don't want to do, but that will set you up for success or ease down the road.
Because it gets that monkey off your back. It's something you should do and you haven't done.
Yeah, and you feel good about checking that.
I never thought about that as self-care, but you are absolutely right.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Because then you're not going to stress about it later. So absolutely, it's self-care.
Yeah,
exactly.
Never thought about that, but it's so true.
Yep. And you feel good after you check that box.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah. Can we talk about what your summer's going to look like now that we're in spring? Summer's almost here.
Yeah, we can.
Are you still busy? Are you taking a break?
At the moment, I'm taking a very long break. I'm just waiting for an internship opportunity, so hopefully I get that. But yeah, I told myself that this is like, because I'm seeing how real like adult life is. I'm still getting acclimated to it. So yeah, and I don't really care for it. So I told myself that this summer will be like my last chill summer. So I'm just giving myself that grace period, because I feel like my first semester, like I really lost myself because I wasn't staying at home. So I didn't have like my routine that I always have. I didn't have my car on campus. So even though like EMU has a gym, I couldn't go to like the gym I'm used to going around here. I wasn't eating the things that I like to eat, that I feel like works well with my body. So I just really felt out of touch with myself. So this summer, I'm just trying to like pour back into myself, find out who I am, and maybe not go back to my old routine, because I feel like it's overused at this point. So like I think you said earlier, like we have to spice up self-care. So I want to get into pickleball. I'm getting back into running. First 5K next month, guys.
Okay,
yeah, I'm so excited about that. And then I love juicing and I love acai bowl. So continuing to like work on recipes like that with my dad, because that's like our thing. And read more for the mind. I don't want to be a screenager anymore.
A screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that term.
Yeah, I've been seeing people use it, and I definitely feel like I've become that person, because it's like so easy to just pick up your phone to get an escape and use it as a way to just dodge things, because it's like I can just put it down and then pick up where I left off, but it's not that easy to do. So I just want to like detach away from my phone, which I feel like is hard because I like want to work in social media, but I feel like if I get that balance now, then I'll have it for like the rest of my life.
I like
Because I saw someone who works in social media say like they don't know who they are outside their job, and I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to have like different hobbies and different communities I can lean on outside of work, because work isn't our whole lives. We're still people. We have families, and I want to have a family someday, so I want to be able to, you know, give them as much attention as I give my job.
That's good. That's good. What about setting goals? Because here's what I'm thinking. In the summer, a lot of students set goals for the summer of things, you know, at the end of the semester, what are they going to do over the summer? Then what are they going to do in the fall? Is that important? Raina, do you do it, Laleh? And how do you, and this is for both of you, how do you keep that balance of setting goals for the summer, for example, being busy but not being overly busy, and the same thing for the fall, so that you don't feel like you get to the end of the summer and you haven't achieved them, but that you also haven't had any rest? Because that's important, right? How do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, like I made it a mission for this summer to like be my chill summer, so I know I'm not gonna like be overwhelmed with like working maybe 20 hours a week or being like booked and busy. Like I need some relaxation time. So I feel like it's very important to set your goal, because like I set my goal to run a 5K this summer and I'm sticking to it. So I think it's important to always set goals so you're always growing as a person. But even if you don't like accomplish it right away or at the time that you wanted to, it's not a big deal, because you know you still have time to like grow and accomplish it. Like life, it is short, but as long as you use the time that you're given, then you can like reach that goal. And I have this screen on my phone that says like 1% better every day. So don't try to be 100% better right away, because it's not a marathon. It's just like a little walk. Just show yourself some grace. And like I said, just be 1% better every day. Little steps to bigger goals.
Right. Me too.
I love that. You're so wise. You're having your chill girl summer. Right. Like that is one of your goals.
Yeah.
So I think that having goals around rest and rejuvenation can be really important. And I really like what you're saying about, you know, this 1% better. I often with clients, we talk about planting seeds, right? The garden is not going to be grown tomorrow. Like you got to plant the seed, you got to water it, right? Take your time and allow there to be, like, things are going to throw you off course. You might not reach every goal in the exact way you thought. There's going to have to be times where you reflect on like, this actually didn't work, you know? So some adaptability.
I'm loving that we're talking about goals right now. And it's hard for some people, especially our students, to goal set. What kind of advice would you give our students that are struggling with making goals that are related to self-care?
I would say to think about not the long-term, think about the long-term goals, but think about what are the day-to-day things that you're going to do and how can you make that a normal part of your routine, right? So that it's actually habit. So maybe you have a goal of learning about, I don't know, some big topic in PR, right? And maybe it's that you read 10 pages a day, or once a week you go to a coffee shop and you read up on that. Maybe you have a goal of feeling like you're in better shape, and maybe the day-to-day thing is I'm going to go for a walk every morning. And in fact, it's really helpful for our bodies to start small. And we sort of have this experience of like, we call it like titration in therapy. So a little bit at a time. And so movement is a great example, but it applies to other things as well. You know, you're not going to run a 5K tomorrow if you haven't run in years, right? And so your body needs a chance to sort of like, okay, I'm going to walk, and then my body can register that felt good and I liked it. And then you can walk a little more, right? And I know for me, sometimes when it comes to movement, if I don't want to do it, but I say, oh, I'm going to put on a timer for 10 minutes, then I'm in the zone. And then I'm like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this. So sometimes it's just, what do I need to do habit-wise to get started? If I know I'm going to go to a coffee shop every Friday, and you can give yourself permission, like, I'm going to get there, and whatever happens when I'm there happens. but I'm going to get there and I'm going to take the book out and put it on the table, right? And just little bits at a time and add up.
I like that. How does reflection work into all this, into self-care? Is it helpful? Are you a journaler? Do you journal? And does journaling help? Does reflection help? Or is it?
It's different
Just
for
something we do.
everyone. For some people, I just actually facilitated a workshop yesterday and somebody said journaling makes them anxious because it makes them start like thinking and ruminating more. So journaling can be helpful. Talking it out with people can be helpful. There's so many different like tools and strategies I see online today too. Like you can buy, like templates off Etsy for tracking goals and habits and reflection and things like that. But I mean, again, going back to the connection piece, I think probably like connecting with others, either who understand you and love you or who are working towards the same goals, can be so much better than trying to do things on your own.
Can we touch a little bit on mindfulness? I remember this was years ago. I knew this nurse who practiced that, and she actually had audio tapes where people can listen to her talking. And so I thought it was soothing, but do you have any resources that students can utilize if they're anxious about something or they have a big presentation, in a week? What can they do to just calm themselves down and try and be in the moment?
Yeah, I do love audio. There's plenty of like podcast series there, have mindfulness recording. So I really do love audio because you can listen along and it's nice to have somebody else helping you, and providing that structure instead of feeling like you have to do it on your own. There's a number of like quick somatic exercises I share. Can I share one with you all?
I'm anxious to know.
Okay, great. So this one is usually a crowd favorite, and I call it the inchy pinchy hug. So you just bring a hand over to your opposite shoulder and you give it a squeeze, and then you squeeze and release all the way down. And you can go nice and slow. This is also when, if you have a partner or a friend, you can do it to each other. You can get your
even down to the fingers.
fingers.
So is it supposed to like help relieve tension? Like
So
sense of tension?
this kind of offers our body a sense of containment, because when we're stressed, a lot of times we're like, whoa, right? And so this is a way for our bodies to feel like, okay, here are my edges. And that activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that helps us to relax and connect, and we call it rest and digest sometimes. So doing something quick like this can be helpful. And this I like too, because I was talking with a client this morning who's flying tomorrow and is nervous. And I was like, you can just do a quick little, like, it doesn't even have to, it can be sneaky, you can just do your fingers. So that's one of my favorites because it's so accessible to share with people.
And it's supposed to calm your nerves.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What else do you have? You said you have a couple. You have one more?
Oh, do I have another one? Oh, my other one that I like is butterfly tap. So just tapping, and this stimulates, can I speak? I'm going to stumble over my scientific explanation of this, but this is bilateral stimulation. And so it's when you're crossing your body and tapping, it's like the opposite sides of your brain. Both of them are interacting. And when we have both of those online, that also stimulates our ability to be grounded and present, because our right brain is more of like the emotional and the left brain is more of the intellectual, logical part of our brain. And with trauma and stress, sometimes the parts of our brain aren't talking. So we'll be really overwhelmed with emotion, or we'll be like intellectualizing and not in touch with what we're feeling and needing. So that can be, really helpful.
That is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could do it off the cuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anywhere you are. I love that.
Anywhere.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we're almost out of time. I'm so glad we're ending with that. But either of you have any last words, any last suggestions, anything you want to share before we sign off?
Yeah, anything that we didn't cover.
I'm curious what you guys do for self-care.
For me, I take really long showers. We're giving away some. We have a giveaway related to that that's coming up soon. So I do that. I also I spend a lot of time on my deck, just out there, and then I end up looking at the sky and seeing a plane leaving and saying, oh, going by, and I think, oh, and I tell my dog we need to be up there. So I do a lot of trips. I do a lot of quick trips in the summer. And even throughout the year, that helps me to kind of reset. And I'm very connected to my friends and my family. I have 2 adorable little grandsons. And for me, sitting in the middle of the floor playing Play-Doh with them, that's self-care for me. Or sitting on my deck with popsicles and we're cheersing with our popsicles. That's my self-care. And my bike is my happy place. And so in the summer, I work out a lot, but in the summer, I'm often on my bike on the trails. And as soon as I put that helmet on, I just start grinning. I love it.
You feel so free
I
biking.
do.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So that's what I do mainly for self-care.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question. I do a lot. I love retail therapy.
Yes,
That
that used
makes
to be
me
my
feel
favorite.
good. I love a lot of things. Shopping for makeup. I just love that kind of stuff that makes me smile. I'm big into connections, so I love communicating, with friends and family. I work out, but like you, I'm trying to fit it in my schedule. But me and my girlfriend just started working out in the mornings, like you.
Yes.
So hopefully that sticks, and I'll be able to continue that because I do love the gym. And I often joke because I love reality TV.
Me too.
And do you?
Yes. I watch so much reality TV.
And I'm a big fan of 90 Day Fiance. So that's my mindfulness activity. Like I like mindless TV after just being on all day. So I just like to unwind with some reality TV.
Great. Well, we're going to end on that great question. Thank you so much for being with us on this last show of our first season. We're coming back next year for a second season, but we certainly appreciate you being here today and getting everyone through the summer. So make sure everyone use your tips and be mindful and rest, get some rejuvenation, and we'll see you back again soon. Thank you. That was another really good show, but this one I really like for the summer because it gives us all a jump start on taking care of ourselves, which we all need to do a better job of that.
Yes, and I learned so many great tips, as always, that I plan to incorporate in my daily life, and I just can't wait.
Absolutely, and I hope our students do too.
Oh, absolutely. So that's all we have for today. As always, it is our hope that the show truly has enlightened you and that it makes your life and your mental health better. And whether or not you're a student planning to return to academic life in the fall, please remember to take time for yourself. Rest and rejuvenation are important for us all.
Absolutely. And as Melissa mentioned earlier, we have a special surprise giveaway that will help you to get started on your journey to taking better care of yourself. All you have to do is watch this episode on YouTube and then like, comment, and subscribe. On July 1st, we will randomly select 5 viewers to win these Restore Aromatherapy shower steamers. When I tell you these bad boys are everything to me, they are. I love them. All you have to do for a chance to win is like, comment, and subscribe. By July 1st, we will randomly select 5 people. You'll have 30 days to pick up your prize, and you will love them. Thank you so much for watching. Melissa and I are excited to announce that we have been picked up for season 2 of the show, and we are excited to bring you more episodes, more issues that affect you. Have a great summer, be good, and we'll see you then.